Okay, so whenever you're taking apart your Nintendo to do some cleaning or replace kind of the connection header, you're going to want to flip it across and put it on its back. There's going to be 6 screws, one right here, one right here, one right here, 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 and here. And all you're going to need is just a Phillips head screwdriver right here. I bought my kit from Lowe's. Down in the links, if you just check it out, I have all the parts that I use for it. So check it out. I'm not going to waste time, but I'm just going to go ahead and show you, whenever you take one apart. The great thing about this kind of older system is that it uses screws and not a proprietary head, and the screws are around kind of that big. So I'm going to go ahead and take apart the 6. I'm going to take off the top case next. Okay, so we've taken kind of the screws off the bottom off of the Nintendo. What we're going to do next is we're going to take off the cover. There's no snapping parts that come off, so this is the great thing about this. So we've taken that portion off, and as you notice right here, we're going to take off kind of this metal protection right here, and there's going to be 7 screws, one right here, 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 2 on the top, and 2 on the side. So I'm just going to take one off for you right now, and it is just a Phillips head screwdriver. And we're going to go ahead and finish up the rest, and I will speed through this and skip to the next section. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take the casing off of this, and we're going to pull it over to the left right here because it kind of gets stuck sometimes on the side. We're going to put it aside. So when you see the top portion of this, our goal is to get to this connector so that we can clean it or replace it. We've got a little bit of brass cleaner to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off these 6 screws, 3 on the side over here, and then we're going to go ahead and do that. So I won't take too much time, but it's going to disconnect it from the PCB board, and it's just 6 screws, and we're going to fast forward and I'll show you once I take these screws off. Okay, so after we've taken the screws off, we're going to do some jostling to kind of pull this off. So just be a little bit gentle with this, and I got to use 2 hands. But this is the connection that's going to get stuck on here. And what I recommend to do next is kind of remove these 2 screws. You're going to pull the PCB out. Our end goal is to take the old connector out and replace it with a new connector. This is the portion that goes inside the printed circuit board right here that connects in right there, and this is normally where your cartridge comes. So it matches up with this part here. So the goal is to get this whole board out, and the last 2 remaining screws are right here. And I'm going to go ahead and take those out for you right now, and then there's some connections that we're going to take a look at. So once you've taken those out, there's going to be a couple connectors here. It's your choice to kind of take these out. These go to the power buttons and controller buttons up at the front. So it's pretty easy to replace these parts in case those are broken as well, in case you need to take a look at that. So I went ahead and pulled off the old connector. So when you lift this board out, there's going to be kind of a metal shielding right here. It's probably for any superfluous signals that are floating around, but this is the old connector. What I recommend is I'll show in the little tutorial at the end of the video. Try cleaning this first before you replace it. I just happen to have some connectors on there, and you're going to take the old portion and then basically just snap it in, and to do that you're going to put it in here. It's going to be a little bit tight of a fit because it is a brand new connector, but once you put it in snug, you push it in, and then you basically just reverse what we've done to put back the Nintendo. Alright, so we've decided just to go ahead and test this, see if the new connector fixed my Nintendo. Beforehand, it would end up being flashing, so you would see kind of this flash up and down. So we're going to go ahead and test this, and my tester right here is going to turn it on, and let's see if it'll work. Okay, looks like it's going to work. Also within the video, what we're going to do is we're going to do other things like clean the cartridge, and I'll show you how to do that, or I may link it up to a new video, so check it out next. Okay, so you replace your connector, and you know these games are about 20 years old right here, so what you're going to need is you're going to need some brass polish. I like this brand. There's another brand called Brazo. I've used it in the past and it works okay. They've kind of reformulated their formula in the past, and you know what we want to do is we want to you know, use a different brand. I've chose Wyman. The combination of you replacing your header along with kind of cleaning your cartridges, you can get a majority of your games working from that. But you know, I just use a little temporary portion on here and just dip a little bit on this. Usually going to use a lot of Q-tips to kind of make this work. So when you put it in there, you know, be pretty liberal with it. You're going to be cleaning this out, and you're going to be pressing against both sides of the circuit board on here. You know, if you don't have the tool to kind of open this up, then you're going to be fine. So what I like to do is I like to apply to both sides, and you know, don't worry about, you know, reusing these Q-tips. But what I like to do is I like to do some scrubbing on this, and you know, there's some tips on, you know, making sure that you can do this. I have another video on doing this with rubbing alcohol. If you have that, that's great. It gets the majority of the dirt off. The Brazo is not gonna hurt your cartridge. I've done this with lots of cartridges before. I usually do one application, just use a dry one to kind of do that. And what I do is I, you know, kind of press a little bit hard on that, and as you notice right here, you know, it's gonna get a lot of the dirt and grime. Remember, these cartridges are about 15 to 20 years old, sometimes 30 years old. So, you know, don't worry about it. You know, by doing these combinations of things, you know, I'm putting a little bit more on here just because this is the first time I've done this. So if you're a vintage game collector, or you've picked up old cartridges out from yard sales and stuff like that, you don't know the condition of these games, so I would just go ahead and clean these up that way.